Alright, Schlockmeister fans, one of the most sought after DVDs that's out there. It's called The Last Chase. Let's check it out. We're in the future and there's no cars because there's no gas, there's no oil. And that's Lee Majors, former race car driver.
Mr. Hart!
Fetch, is that you?
Saw your car run out of gas, Mr. Hart. I couldn't find more. Honest.
Fetch, come on. What the hell's the matter with you? You could always get whatever we want.
Not anymore. Oh, I can get you anything, but I can't get you gas.
So he's trying to siphon whatever he can find.
Going home was always the hardest part. My wife and my son were among the first to be stricken by the disease. It all happened so suddenly. For a month or so, I had some kind of delayed reaction. I'd go back home and somehow just expect them to be there.
Now we fast forward 20 years, I believe. There's public transportation. And police have some sort of vehicles, but there's no gas, no cars, no nothing.
We're going into a confiscation yard.
Okay, stop it here.
This was the third time he's been recorded in a place like this in the past month.
Car parts.
He was there for about 27 minutes.
There's Chris Makepeace. He plays a guy named Ring. And I believe he's a student. And he kind of harkens for the old days too, even though he wasn't part of it.
We have returned to the land, to the deserts, to the mountains, and to our cities. But we are also returning to machines, and
There's some free people out in California. Franklin Hart is Lee Majors' character, and he wants to go to California now, so he has stored his race car in pieces in his garage.
Guilty about cars. They created social problems.
He's giving a speech to a bunch of students, including Ring.
Too many highways. Always guilt. Mountains of the stuff. So we changed all that. I mean, we went from oil to...
Hart's been told that he might be arrested for all of his defiance of the rules, so he's very paranoid.
I'm important to you. I'm the only person who applauded your speech the other day.
Well, the authorities have arrived to pick him up, and he realizes Ring's going to have to come with him if he wants to escape, and they do. And they're off cross-country to California.
this is Radio Free California calling America. We have just received reports from eastern outposts that a car has somehow broken free. The first car on the roads of America in over 20 years.
Burgess Meredith is Captain J.G. Williams, and they pulled him out of mothballs because he's a fighter pilot from Vietnam, and they want him to get back in the pilot seat and go after Hart.
I believe they want you to fly again, sir.
You haven't any damn airplanes, have you?
They're offering you a chance to fly a jet fighter.
Well, during their cross-country trek, Hart and Ring form a bond. And Williams' plane is getting taken out of mothballs, too. They run into a few perils along the way, including a Coca-Cola truck. But Ring is a genius with little bombs and computers and all kinds of things. They've been found. Now he's shooting at them, but he was just trying to scare them. Although his bosses think he is supposed to kill him, but he does, in fact, nick him in the shoulder. But then Ring takes over driving as he passes out, and he ends up finding some help for them on some Indian reservation somewhere. Included are some non-Native Americans also, including Sammy Snyders. You might recognize as Jamie Benjamin from The Pit.
No, satellites. We put our metal all in the mine shaft there. Who's the old man? It's my grandfather.
While Hart is recovering, he kind of falls for a woman named Eudora, played by Alexandra Stewart, who I think was married to Rod Stewart. And he gets laid. But they get discovered.
You stay here.
So they flee, and Williams is still in pursuit. The government has set up some sort of laser thing to track and kill Hart also. That's a cactus killer right there.
Why do you want to keep this thing going?
Don't you understand? He just wants to keep the chase going.
He's probably saying the same thing to himself. All they're going to finish is each other.
Kind of playing a game of chicken.
210! 220! 230! 240!
And they're having fun.
Hey, you guys are pretty good. Hell, I ain't had this much fun since I was a cadet.
But Williams decides he's not going to take Hart out. He's going to take out the laser himself. And they make it to California.
They have arrived at the California border unharmed. The old racing car drove out of the desert at 3 o'clock this afternoon and was greeted by the people of the border town.
This could set us back to the 1980s.
Alright, let's talk about The Last Chase. Now, this is an old cable movie of mine that I saw many, many, many times back around 1982, 1983 or so. Came out in 1981, the movie did, but again, it showed up on cable quite a bit, and I watched it quite a bit because I enjoyed it. Lee Majors, Chris Makepeace, and Burgess Meredith. What we got here is a futuristic movie in which, I guess, kind of a post-apocalyptic thing. Maybe, I'm not sure what year it was taking place. I don't even remember if it mentioned it or not, but maybe 30, 40 years in the future. I don't know. But apparently the gas and oil has run out. There are no more cars left on the roads, and people are just going about their daily lives without cars. Simple as that. Lee Majors used to be a race car driver, so he has an affinity and a love for car racing, and he actually has a car buried in his garage underneath some stuff, so nobody knows it's there. Cars are basically outlawed. There's no cars allowed. So he has this one, and he's a little defiant about things. It's just his nature and stuff. So he doesn't like all the rules out there. Well, and eventually he breaks a few rules, and not sure what kind of society is. There's a lot of rules in the society that you're not allowed to do this or that. It's a little kind of utopian type of thing. It's just not a fun place. And they warn him that, you're pretty defiant. You could get arrested for what you're doing. Well, then he starts to think, maybe I will be. And he decides he's going to get out of town. He's on the East Coast somewhere, and I can't remember exactly where, but he wants to go to California because there's apparently some free people or trying to be free in California, and he wants to go join them. How's he going to get there? Well, he's going to dig out his car. Chris Makepeace is a student who actually listened to a lecture that Lee Majors had done about cars, and he really enjoyed them and stuff, so he went over to visit him. Next thing you know, he gets roped in with Lee Majors as the police and stuff are breaking down their door to arrest him. So they bust this car out, and they get out, and they're out on the road. So they're on the road. Basically, it's a chase movie the rest of the time. The government is trying to catch Lee Majors. He's the only car on the road, obviously, so you think they'll be able to catch him, but they can't. And eventually they hire Burgess Meredith, who's a fighter pilot. Last time he flew, it says, was in Vietnam. So they take him out of mothballs and say, go get him. So his job is to stop this car from reaching California and Radio Freeland, or whatever the hell they call it. Well, he isn't all that keen about doing it, and he thought he was just out there to scare him, but apparently he was told he got to kill him. And ultimately, though, his plane ends up blowing up, and he doesn't succeed. He does manage to shoot Lee Majors at one point, though, so he's injured. But they find some help along the way, and they manage to get to California in the end, and that's how our movie finishes. So there you go. Alexandra Stewart, I think, was in this as well as the woman. So anyway, that's the movie. Again, I like this movie. When I got the DVD, I watched it, and it's longer, maybe 5-10 minutes longer than what I remembered when I saw it on cable. This is an uncut version of the scene, which includes an orgy. There's an orgy and some nude scenes in this movie, which definitely was not in the cable version. I don't know, it wasn't even necessary to the plot, but they threw it in there, which was kind of interesting. Now, they call that the director's cut version here. So anyway, this DVD is, for whatever reason, become very expensive. Code Red released this many years ago, and apparently the first batch that came out had some audio issues with it. They weren't quite in sync, so they, I don't know what they did, but they got new versions out there now, and that's what this is. I got at least a good one. So, but again, this movie is rare, it's sought after, and very expensive. You're not going to find this generally under $200 if you look for it on eBay. There's some guy right now, actually I saw, there's 4 people who are selling this on eBay right now. One of them is for $219 or best offer. I would jump on that. If you really want this movie, you're going to have to shell out that kind of money and maybe make an offer for $200. Maybe you'll take it. I don't know. But $240, another guy has it listed for. And then there's some joker who has it listed for $775. Now, his is still sealed, factory sealed with the labels and everything on it. So, but I can't imagine anybody spending that kind of money for this. It's just a movie, whatever. But there's also some guy who's selling some bootlegs of it for $50 a piece, which is a little expensive for a bootleg, I think. But it is a rare movie, and I don't know. He's even advertising it as full screen, so maybe it's a VHS rip. I don't know. But anyway, it is kind of hard to track down, and so I am glad I have this movie. It's one of the rare ones I got. So anyway, I'm curious what you think about Last Chase. It is available on YouTube if you want to watch it. It's in like 3 parts, and there's a couple other versions on YouTube that speed up the audio, and there's another one where these guys are talking over the audio, kind of reviewing it at the same time too. But it is out there if you want to look for it, or you can always spend some cash if you're looking for the DVD. It is rare. So anyway, check it out. Let me know what you think about it and leave some comments. It's The Last Chase, and I like it. Let me know what you think. Watch it. Bye.